Today, we're tackling a challenge that, let's be honest, so many of us are dealing with in this work-from-home world. How do you make one single room do the job of 3, or maybe even 4, without completely losing your mind? We are talking about the Shapeshifter room.
So does this question hit a little too close to home? I mean, if you're looking at a treadmill from your desk chair right now, while that spare bed is also your laundry folding station, you are definitely not alone. This is the new reality for millions of us.
In fact, it's so common that in a 2024 survey of design pros, a whopping 77% said that creating these multifunctional spaces is the single biggest trend in home offices. So if you feel like your worlds are constantly colliding in one room, you're not imagining it. It's pretty much the new standard in home design.
And this trend, it is only getting bigger. Projections showed that by 2025, an estimated 36.2 million Americans will be working remotely. That is a lot of people who need their homes to work a whole lot harder. But here's the good news. Designers have come up with some seriously clever solutions. So let's dive into the first big idea.
All right, our first strategy is all about a little bit of magic, making your workspace literally vanish at the end of the day. The goal here is to create a real mental and physical break between your work life and your home life, even if they're happening in the exact same room. Let's kick things off with one of the most popular solutions out there, the Cloffice. And yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like, an office tucked inside a closet. The real beauty of this is just how simple it is. You don't need some huge walk-in. Even a regular old closet can be totally transformed. And getting started is way more straightforward than you might think. You really only need these 4 key things. Some kind of surface for your laptop, good lighting to replace that one sad dim bulb, a chair you can actually sit in for more than an hour, and a few shelves for storage. But the best part? When you're done for the day, you just close the doors. Work is literally out of sight and out of mind. Now, what if you don't have a closet to spare? Well, our next disappearing act uses a classic piece of furniture that's gotten a serious tech upgrade, the modern Murphy bed. These are not the clunky, scary things from old movies. No, the new generation comes with a built-in desk that does something absolutely brilliant. It stays perfectly level as the bed folds down right over it. And here's why that is so amazing. You never have to clear your desk. These systems usually give you about 17 inches of clearance, which is more than enough to leave your laptop, your monitor, and even your cup of coffee right where it is. It is a total game changer for any room that has to be both a guest room and an office. And look, there are options for different budgets. You could go for a high-end, all-in-one premium model, which will start around $3,600. Or if you're a bit more hands-on, you can buy a DIY hardware kit for just a few $100 and build the whole thing yourself. Okay, one last disappearing act for you involves what are called integrated storage walls. Just picture a whole wall of custom-looking cabinets. Behind one set of doors, that's your entire desk setup, monitor and everything. At 5 o'clock, you just shut the doors, and boom! The room is instantly a living space again. But what if hiding your office just isn't an option? Okay, our next strategy is to divide and conquer. This is all about creating separate, distinct zones for different activities, all without having to build a single wall. And you have some really stylish ways to do this. An open-back bookcase, for instance, creates a great visual barrier, but it also gives you a ton of much-needed storage. Or, hey, you can hang curtains from a ceiling track. That gives you a softer, really flexible division you can open and close whenever you want. For a more modern architectural feel, wooden slots are fantastic because they create separation but still let all that light filter through, keeping the space feeling really airy. And of course, you can't go wrong with a classic folding screen. It's an easy, no-install required way to get instant privacy. So you've either hidden or divided your workspace. Awesome. Now let's talk about optimizing the environment itself. This really comes down to managing 2 critical things that can totally make or break your day: sound and light. Let's start with sound. And I want you to really think about this for a second. When you are deep in concentration and a loud noise or an interruption pulls you out of your flow, how long do you think it takes to get that focus back? The answer might actually shock you. Research shows it can take up to 23 minutes to fully get your concentration back after a noise interruption. In a busy, multi-use room, that can just completely derail your productivity for the day. This is where acoustic panels come into play, and they're not just for recording studios anymore. Putting quality panels up on your walls can seriously cut down on echo and background noise. We're talking a reduction of as much as 16 decibels, and that right there can be the difference between a chaotic room and a calm one. So how do they actually work?
Well, it comes down to something called the noise reduction coefficient, or NRC. A really good panel might have a rating of 0.95. What that means is it's absorbing 95% of the sound that hits it instead of just letting it bounce all around the room as echo.
All right, next up, lighting. Just like sound can throw you off, the wrong light can drain your energy or make it impossible to relax. So it's really no surprise that 70% of design professionals say that smart, controllable lighting is one of the top requests they get for home offices today.
The key here is to think in layers. During your workday, you need bright, clear overhead light to keep you alert. For focused work, you need a dedicated task lamp right on your desk. But then, in the evening, you switch those off and you turn on soft, warm, ambient lighting, which sends a powerful signal to your brain that it's finally time to wind down.
And finally, you have to manage the visual clutter. This is about so much more than just being tidy. It's about reducing the cognitive load on your brain. A simple 5-minute closing shop routine at the end of the day, putting away papers, tidying your desk, it's such a powerful psychological trigger. It gets rid of that constant visual reminder of work, which frees up your mental energy and helps you truly switch from work mode to home mode. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground. So where do you actually start? Let's boil it all down into a super simple 3-step action plan. First, identify your needs. Just make a list of everything this one room has to do. Second, choose your priority. What is this room's primary everyday function? This decision will guide everything else. And third, invest in one key piece of furniture that's going to do the heaviest lifting, whether that's a Murphy bed, a big storage wall, or a great room divider. Now, that second step, choosing a priority, is really important. And the data shows there's been a huge shift in how people are thinking about this. A massive 91% of experts say people now prioritize having a dedicated home office over having a spare guest bedroom. And why is that? Well, because the office gets used every single day, while guests might only visit a few times a year. It's all about designing for your actual, real life.
Ultimately, what this all comes down to is a shift in mindset. A Shapeshifter room isn't about making compromises. It's about being clever. It's about making smart, intentional choices that let your space adapt to exactly what you need whenever you need it. So, what's the one clever change you can make in your space this week?